So we're back once again, and do you remember in the last episode I was talking about a pipe that was leaking near the house? This one here. So today we're going to be pulling up the block paving from here right the way through to the road here so we can connect the new pipe up. We've got all this timber and all this material that needs to go around the back. So the first job for the GDC today is get all this material moved. Oi oi! So it was all hands on deck, quickly moving all this material around the back, picking up these dirty old boards and stacking them up so we were ready to get on with the trench.
Sometimes what you want ain't what
I then set my string line up from one end to the other so I knew exactly where the trench had to go. This scaffolding was right on top of the run, so without moving all of this lot we had to come up with something to sort out that. Then it was on the shovels, moving all of this soil and stuff onto the boards, and that's where we were going to keep the soil until the muck away lorry came along. Quick sweep up, keeping everything clean as we go. Right, so now we've got all of that cleared, it's time to lift some of these block pavings. We're literally going to be making a channel right the way through here, wide enough for once we've dug out and everything goes back in, for our whacker plate to go along it so we can pack the ground back down good and solid. So then on with the gloves and start picking up these block pavers one at a time from one end to the other. And off I went. I was like a mole thrashing down the line. Come on. So now we've pulled up all the block pavings right the way through there, one side to the other than the bit underneath the scaffolding where obviously the leg's holding that lot up at the moment. We'll have to sort that out in a bit. So we're going to shoot now and go and get some FOOD. Lovely old job. What are you saying, Steve?
Food time. Come on.
Pies, pasties, sausage rolls,
Anything.
fizzy pop.
Anything.
Come on! Yay! Food! So we are going to, for the FOOD, the one and only Krusty's. Big up Krusty's Bakery. Let's get some food. So what you got, ladders man? What you got?
Hang on, I've got a mouthful at the moment.
That's what
Sausage
she.
and bacon puff.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
He's gone with a bacon and cheese puff in there.
I think so.
I got one of them. I got a sausage and bean pasty, and I got a cheese and onion roll. What's in your roll, bro? Show them.
Sweet and chili chicken.
Sweet and chili chicken. Back of the net. Come on. Oh. Right, after the lovely crusty roll, we're gonna get the sand off of here first and then see what's underneath. But I think it's type 1, so shouldn't be that difficult to dig. Happy days. Just gonna give the line a little mark along here because I don't want the line there while I'm digging because I'll end up shoveling through it. So I'll just put a little mark down the line and that'll help me right out. So it was out with a shovel and throwing all of the sand into a wheelbarrow. We kept it separate in case we needed it later on. So I tried digging through this type 1 just with a shovel because it's been whacked down so hard. It's obviously been down for a lot of years and a lot of cars have gone over the top of it. Really, really solid. So I've got the tighten out, put my big spade bit on the end there. It's making it a lot easier to break through. Just a little tip for anyone that really helps if you've got a hard bit of ground. And just like that, that was all of the type 1 dug out. Lovely. And whilst I was digging out, Ladder Man made a champion job of cleaning up all the block pavers. We then put some boards over the trench and no one tripped over. Right, so I've got to quickly go over to a job that I'm going to be doing in the next video. So let's go and have a little look at that. As you can see here, there's a lot of soil in this garden. This all needs to be taken down. But the biggest issue that they are having is that by the door threshold, the patio has been put in higher than the door threshold. So the water is going into the house, which is not what you want. So we're going to have to sort this out soon. We'll see you on that one in the next video. I was just thinking about that place and I thought, Jesus, who on God's earth would put a patio in, like level with a threshold, but like you can have level threshold, but with no drainage there for one, and two, it's literally like, I think it's actually about 10 mil higher than that actual door. I mean, that's crazy, absolutely crazy. No wonder she's getting moisture in her back door and stuff. So yeah, we're going to make that look cushy-wushy. So it should be an interesting one. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy that, I think. Good little challenge. Patio season is amongst us. So now the type 1 was gone, it was time to dig the actual trench. And what's better to dig a trench than a digger? We quickly backed the digger off and started digging the trench. This made it a hell of a lot easier. And before we knew it, we were getting through. Lovely job. Look at that. Bucket in, easy peasy. Right, so there we have it. All dug out now, 600 minimum. We found this big electric cable and a big sewage pipe running through there as well. So we've had to go underneath that because you need 600 minimum. So to go over it, that would have been about 450. So we've gone under it. So we've dug through there now. Time for another pasty. The next thing to do was put 150 mil of sand down, then the pipe, then another 150 mil of sand. We then compacted the whole thing in, laid a caution tape over the top, whacked it again, put some aggregate in, whacked it down. We like to compact it every 100 mils. We were putting a layer in, whacking it down, a layer in, whacking it down. Then we were on with a good type 1 aggregate, the good stuff. Again, 100 mil of each, whacking it down, then topping it up again, whacking it down, top it up and whack it down until we're right at the top. Right, so now that we've got all of the sub base in, the type 1, I've come over now, we've literally got about an inch, maybe an inch and a half of sand on here. We've compacted that as well. And now I've made a piece of wood like this. I've notched out either side. Now these block pavers are 50 mil, so I've notched out 45 mil either side, because after the block pavers are down, you need to whack it down again, and they go down about another 5 mil once you give them the final whack. So it's going to be just a little bit high at the moment. I'll go along now and screed this like this. It goes on, and I'll get it to the block pavers, and I slide it like this. And you can see now if there's any low bits, like there's a very low section there. Steve, can you bring that barrow over to me, man, just so I can get a sprinkle out of it? So where I've just done that there, I can see it's right through that bit. We've got a little low bit there, so I'll just throw a little bit on there and whack that down. Good and hard like that. Bosh like that. Now I can get this on here, and I know that now is the level that I'm after. Now let's go along, keeping it on the sides. And that is our level. Any low bits, I'll just chuck a little bit in. So like there now. It's always awkward when you've got to fill in old bits, but this is the easiest way of doing it. Then it was actually time to start block paving. This is the cream part of the job, I like to call it. Doesn't really take much time at all. All the prep work is what takes the time. Then you get to do the nice bit right at the end, clonk the blocks in, and it's really, really easy. Literally, the whole area doesn't take very long at all. The main thing here is what you're looking for is that you fit in without having to cut any blocks. And as you can see, I managed to get these bad boys in absolutely perfect. You're probably thinking, will they all fit? Will they all fit? Will he have to cut one? Will he? Will he? One to go. One to go. Yeah, Tricky's got it. Looking good. So now, literally, all we've got to do now is wait for this to dry out a bit here, because these are a bit moist, these ones. But then we'll get the kiln dry on it and then whack over the top of it, and that'll bring it all nice and perfect. But it's looking pretty good. Horrible start to the day. Here nice and early, but it's absolutely pouring down. Yuck. After I checked it was all nice and level, it was time to screed a bit more. Now the sun came out with perfect weather to do this job. and I was away again, laying the block pavers, tapping some of these ones in because this got a little bit tighter as we went towards the end of the channel we dug. But they all went in and they looked really, really good. Nice and level, exactly how they should be. I was loading out for myself today because Ladder Man had the day off. So bang, a few blocks near the line and away I went once more. One block at a time until all the sand was covered. Right, so that's as far as I'm going to go with this one for now, because I know what will happen if I take this board out and that's paved. That's all going to drop away. Once this is all filled up, we can pull that sheet out and then none of this will drop down into the hole or anywhere along like that. So that's plenty for that end for now. So we're going to creep up here now. Creepy, creepy. This is drying out nicely as well, so I reckon we'll be able to get some sand on it today. It's looking nice. I'm going to do the same now up this end here and up to the board there. Like I say, same situation as the other side. I'll get it up to about a foot back, and then once that's all backfilled, we can slide that out and then carry on through properly. And then we've got another little job to do. You know how I like a manhole cover? Well, you're going to see one again in a minute. So I filled up a barrel full of sand, chucked it in the hole, give it a good spread around. Then it was out with a whacker plate once again, give it a good compact down. Out with my screed rail to screed it all off to the right level. Filling any little holes as I go, lovely. And then smoothing off the bits where the bricks have got to go in. Lovely, exactly how it wants to be. Last couple of block pavers now going in, tapping them in. A couple of these needed to be thumped in because the gaps weren't quite as, it was a bit tighter than what it should be, but we managed to get them in. All it really took was a good whack with my rubber mallet. Bang, they were exactly where they wanted to be. Boom! So there we go, there's that one up as far as I'm going to go with that one as well, so that's nice. Happy days. So the next little job is this manhole cover, because it's got a big crack in it. And when the guy comes to pick that up, that's going to absolutely sink through there, plus it's a little bit high as well, so I'm going to gun this out around here and get this manhole cover lowered down to the right height. For ease, I got my disc cutter out, cut right around the perimeter of the existing manhole cover to loosen it all up. Then I got out my breaker, the trusty Titan, once more, broke all the way around the outside, made it nice and loose. Then I could throw it all into the wheelbarrow, get it gone without actually lifting the lid. That way nothing fell down into the drain. The last thing you want is to be down in the middle of a sewage drain picking out bits of rubble when all sorts has been floating down there. Once it was all cleared, I could lift the old manhole cover off, and because it was a little bit high, I was lucky there was a split all the way around. I put a bag down in the drain to stop anything that could fall down there from doing so. That way, again, I didn't want to be down there fishing any rubble or rubbish out of the bottom of that drain, because there's all sorts that floats around in the bottom of live sewers. So the next thing after that was to get out my whisk, knock up some sharp sand and cement, ready to put around for a bed for the new manhole cover to sit on. I used my trowel to smooth round a nice bed right the way around the edge, so then my new manhole cover ring had something to sit on. I also put some in the rest of the gap, so it saved me time later on. Then it was on with the manhole ring. I tapped it down my level to make sure every direction was nice and true, and then popped the lid on. Absolutely perfect. Lovely old job. Then I threw a little bit more sand and cement around the edge, just enough so I could get on there and give it a good finish. So there we have it. There's that all mucked in and levelled up again. As you saw there, I took it down a little bit lower than what it was before because it was sticking up. So now at least I haven't got like a speed bump as they come onto their driveway. It's a nice level. Good. Right, there's another little job for me to do just inside here. Let's show you. This morning, Ben's installed this steel through here. And as you can see this side, I've just put some muck up there. It needs a little pad stone. So we've got some engineering bricks on there. Got some ties in the wall as well. So we're just gonna chuck 3 bricks in here and then that'll keep that nice and secure. Lovely old job. Another one, another little hole, another little job. There we go, there's that up there sorted. That's what we like. Another little job done. Now all that's left to do is one little thing out the front and we're Christy. So the last little job I've got to do is quickly come along here with the whacker plate and force in the dry kiln sand. Now it's nice and dry, it's perfect conditions to do it. So I'm going to get along here with the kiln sand and run the whacker plate over the top. So when I do this, I like to get loads of kiln dried sand over the top. I'll give the bag a split, drag it along, all the way along like that. And another bag. Plenty on there. And the reason I put so much down is between the whacker plate and the block pavers, you don't want the metal scratching all the faces of the bricks up. So the more sand you've got on there, it really does pack it into the joints nicely, and as well as it doesn't damage the block. So that's why we put so much down. When I whack in, I really do try and go over a good few times to make sure the sand is forced right the way down. And of course, the block pavers aren't going to sink any way at all because cars are going to drive over this. And the last thing someone wants is big groove down the middle of their driveway. Now it's whacked, just give it a light brush over. It fills in any bits that have shaken right the way down to the bottom. Now that is absolutely perfect. That will never move now. Good and strong, all locked in again. Now I'll sweep all this right the way along and do the next section. And one last good brush off, and this is done. So there we have it, all swept in, whacked in, like it wasn't even there, just like I hadn't even been there. Lovely old job. If you've enjoyed this video, ladies and gentlemen, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up, please don't forget to hit the subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, guys and girls, for the patio retaining wall job, so don't miss that. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, and pow!